Bizman Weekly, Jim Walsh on SuperTalk1270. The city of Bismarck wants to clamp down on employees using electronic devices while driving. There are already laws on the books on the state level, but certain members of the city commission, in particular Commissioner Mike Seminary, want more teeth in the policy. Mike is on the line this morning. Good morning, sir. Thanks for joining us here at SuperTalk1270.
Hey, good morning, Jim. How are you?
Not too shabby. Enjoying this weather. We got a decent day. Hopefully it'll stick around for a while. But let me ask you, Mike, right from the get-go here, since we already do have these laws on the books on the state level, why is it necessary to further regulate the city employees on the issue of using these electronic devices while they're driving on company time, so to speak?
That's a good question, Jim. First of all, thanks for that harp music that you have for the commercial break. As a harp player, I really appreciate that. I think you were doing that for me. What happened at the meeting the other night, if people follow the process of a city commission meeting, there's a portion of the meeting called the consent agenda. And in the consent agenda, there are times that we approve in total the consent agenda. We also have the opportunity to pull items out for further discussion. And so I pulled out that particular item, the new, let's call it the legal wording of the ordinance that relates to city employees, because I wanted a couple questions for clarification. One, if we vote to move this through tonight, does that mean that it will not come back for further discussion? It's going to be approved? And that was yes. The city attorney said, yeah, that's what would happen. I said, well, then I want to talk about this new wording, if you will, that relates just to city employees. And what was provided to us, Jim, for your sake and your listeners, is that here are kind of the guidelines that the city employees must follow as it relates to, I'm going to call it distracted driving, because it isn't just texting. It was using a handheld device,
right,
whether it's your phone or what have you. And I was particularly interested because it said, really just the regular old mumbo-jumbo, that this is really important, I'm paraphrasing, this is really important in the event that you get in an accident. And I thought to myself, what? And so I asked the city attorney, I said, this is it? We're only concerned about this? Essentially, I'm paraphrasing what I said. If the employees of the city are texting and they only get in an accident? Because it's against the law to do it at all. And so that's why I said I want more meat in this, because this was really all about liability for the city. If we have to have this wording so that if one of the employees are texting or are doing something they shouldn't be doing while they're on the clock and they're in a city vehicle, we are kind of shielded as a city. I didn't like that, Jim, because if in fact the law is the law, let's put some meat into this thing that the city employees are supposed to be concerned about. That's why I brought it up.
Now, has this been an issue? Have there been a number of cases where people were caught doing this?
I have no idea.
Okay.
I can tell you this, Jim, that the fact that there's a law is meaningless. I run 5 miles every single day. I would say 40 to 50% of every car that I go by or goes by me, somebody's doing something with the phone, whether they're texting or whatever. And people don't like it when we get into their private lives. But the reality is, on public streets, there's no such thing as a private life in your car. People have to get used to that.
Understood.
So,
well,
that's why I brought it up, Jim.
Yeah, basically, you're not satisfied with the wording, and you're concerned with again the litigation issue, the liability issue.
Yes, and furthermore, that I thought if we were going to take the time to write this, we better let employees know that, look, we're not concerned only if you get in an accident. We're concerned if you're violating the law at all. So let's say if we see that you're violating the law, there better be some consequences, not only if you're in an accident. That's why I brought it up.
Is it reasonable to say that, if anything, the employees of the city should be held to an even higher standard than the regular public?
Well, I can't speak for city employees because I'm elected by people of the city to represent everyone.
Okay.
But I do think there are people that should be held to a higher standard, and I try to do that for myself, Jim. And I am not innocent. There are times I pick up my phone because it's ringing, and I shouldn't be doing that. I do not text and drive because it is so dangerous. I just don't do it.
Yeah, I understand that. Talking with Bismarck Commissioner Mike Seminary. Mike, while I have you on the line here, let me ask you about something else you guys have been discussing, the use of the former, the site of the Meriwether's restaurant, which, of course, is no longer there. What have you decided, if anything, about what to do with that piece of land?
That's a great question. Thanks for asking, Jim. What we talked about that night is drafting what we might call a request for qualifications or request for interest. We have a piece of property owned by the city on the river, idyllic for multiple possibilities, of course, and we would like somebody to tell us why they would like it and what they would do with it. Because it is such a unique piece of property. Let's not handcuff ourselves and say, we only want to use it for a restaurant. We only want to use it for a bar. Maybe somebody wants to put something really cool there that we don't even think of. So we thought, let's make it available to people that are willing to put an idea forward to us that also are risk takers. That means they're going to put some money into the thing and see what could be made of that. Kind of a what if. What if somebody proposed this? And we let them do it. How cool could that be? So that's what we're looking for.
Now, is the city planning on selling the property, or are you going to keep the property and just work with whoever wants to do something on the property?
Well, for now, we're saying let's keep it because it's such an important piece of property. But that doesn't mean we couldn't change our mind in the future. But for now, let's keep it.
Okay, and I do have to ask you, Mike, another article that we saw a couple of days ago came out right after the Sunday edition, some discussion regarding how to get more parking space within the city of Bismarck. What are the options that you guys are looking at as far as raising the funds to expand the parking, and where would you put the extra parking?
Well, the next ramp is scheduled. Hopefully, they'll be breaking ground here shortly. That next ramp is going to be, kind of between the city county building and the hospital, Sanford. And that's going to be a big complex. I can't remember exactly the number of cars, 400 to 600, something like that. And that's going to cost us $12 million because of the lawsuit. It's cost us $2.5 million more than it really should have.
It's going to cost us $12 million.
That's correct.
The citizens of the city.
It should have cost at least $2.5 million less.
Yeah.
We have the funds for it, so we'll get that done. That'll come out of the TIF funds. And then there's a discussion about another one. I don't know how far along that is. I don't have that portfolio. That's Commissioner Grossman. So.
Right.
But we've got one coming soon. We should have had it 2 years ago, but we had that lawsuit, and so we're kind of behind the 8 ball now.
Let me back up a little bit. You were saying the one we're getting now costs $12 million. It should have cost $2 million less. Did I hear you correctly?
Yes.
And why is that? Why is it costing more than it should have?
We got sued. We got sued because we wanted to use TIF funds to build the parking lot, and somebody sued the city. We had to delay projects, and the cost of that delay cost the taxpayers $2 million, cost extra $2.5 million. It should have been done 2 years ago at a lower price that we had at the time, and now because of the new costs, new increases because of the lawsuit. That lawsuit cost us $2.5 million.
Reminds me of something Shakespeare once said about lawyers, but let's not get into that. Mike, I want to thank you very much. Now, if folks want to weigh in on these issues, how can they contact you? How can they contact the City Commission?
Well, they can go to the Bismarck.org and email us there. Or you can, if you want to email me, you can email me at mseminary@yahoo.com.